Hello everybody, it has been a long time since I published my last video on YouTube, so today I just wanted to record something for you because I think it's pretty interesting. It's about Dart and Flutter, of course, because we are using the Dart programming language for creating our apps, but it's quite interesting for me and I think that it will be also interesting for you. So let me show you. Recently, yesterday, I created a new plugin. This time it's just about an analyzer plugin because I just wanted to create like a lint rule for something that I think is pretty not so only interesting but also really good for everyone, especially if you are in a company when you have where you have many developers, so most probably you need to enforce some rules, and I think this could be the case, but let me just show you. So the first thing that I want to show you is just the problem that we want to solve, because it's something that for me is really nice, because I was on the just developing with iOS, trying to play around with the iOS development and so on. So on the native side this time, and the Swift language has something pretty cool, which let me show you here in the playground, because I have something not prepared, but something that I just wanted to show you here on the playground. And let me just tell you. So the first thing, imagine that you have a function, and this function just throw an error. So if we create a function, this is a Swift, this is not Dart, so this is the Swift playground, and let's try to create a function. So the first thing that we are gonna do is just to create a simple function, function1, and then here we are gonna say that this function is going to throw an error. So let's create an error here, an error class, or in this case an struct, which is gonna be something like I don't know, my error, and we are gonna implement the protocol, which is gonna be error, and that's it. That's the struct. Then we are gonna throw that error here, my error, and you see that I got a warning here, and this compile time error is just something like you're not handling the error because the enclosing function is not declared throws. So it means that in this case there is a function that is throwing an error, and then we need to mark this function as throwing function. So here, to do so, the only thing that we can do so far is just to annotate this function with throws, and that's it, right? So now it tells the compiler that the function is throwing an error, and then we don't have that issue anymore here on the playground. So I mean, you can imagine that we don't have anything like this on the Dart side, right? We don't have it. We cannot use it on Flutter or anything because Dart doesn't support anything like this, just for somehow documenting exceptions. So if we want to try the same here, you will see that we have a function fun1, then we can throw whatever exception we want, this one, and that's it, right? Nothing happens. So if we are gonna use that function in another function, let's say that we have function2, and from this function we want to use function1, and this function1, we already know that is throwing an error, but let's say that this is in another package that we created, and we are importing this package into this project, and then we are using that function on this project. Then we don't have anything to hint us that there is an error that we can throw, or it might throw, I don't know, whatever your implementation is, and then this function doesn't handle that exception because we don't know. There is no mechanism on the Dart side just to get to know whether there is a function that we are calling from another function which is throwing an error or not. But on Swift there is something like this, right? We are marking this function, and now we know that function1 is throwing. And how do we know that? Because when we try to use that function, let's try to create the same function 2 as we created on the Dart side, and let's say that we want to just use function1. Function1 is this one. We tried to use it, and then we got an error, and this error is call can throw, but it is not marked with try, and the error is not handled. So we have the option to mark this function with try, but at the same time that we do so, then function one is still throwing the error, right? But then it's inside another function and it says that error thrown from here are not handled. So function 2 is not handling this error. So we have two options here. The first one is just to mark this function as throwing with throws keyword, and then if we are gonna use that function in a serve function, same thing, then it's exactly the same that we see, like we had seen so far. We are gonna have the same error. You see the same error, right? We can mark this as try, and then we have the error as well, which is that this function here is not handling the exception that is coming from this function 2. So what we can do is just to wrap this with a do catch in Swift, and yeah, we can just handle the exception, and that's it, right? Everything is fine, but at least the compiler is telling you that something is going wrong. There is one function that you are calling that is throwing an exception, and you are not handling this exception properly. So now if we go to the dark side, you could see that we are not handling this exception. That doesn't have a mechanism to do so, and then I decided to create a package for that, just to fix it. I mean, not to fix it, but just to create a lint rule that tells you that there is a function that is throwing an error, so you can document your functions or your methods inside classes properly, and then you will handle the exception depending on the lint rule, right? Because the lint is gonna tell you, yeah, there is a problem here, there is a function that you're calling that is throwing an exception, so you can just use this new package that I created. It's just a plugin analyzer. I mean, it's just created with the plugin analyzer plugin, so to say, which is the most recent way to do it, because before we have custom lints and we could create custom lints with the custom lint package, but now there is a better approach, light way, and it's easier just to integrate with your projects. So let me just show you first the package. Is this one. I just created it yesterday. I mean, I just created it like months ago, and using AI, by the way, because I didn't want just to go through all the logic inside the links and so on. So I just use AI, and then I had to correct some things because not all of them were working from the very beginning. But it was quite nice experience because I didn't create any package before using AI, and I really liked it. So yeah, you can see this is a brand new package, just published 20 hours ago, throws lints. And what it does is exactly what I show you with Swift. I mean, there are some other languages that they support this kind of extensions, documentation, and so on, or whatever you want to call it, like for example Java and so on. But since I just started with iOS since 1.5 years ago, I just wanted to try to do something similar to what I saw in Swift. So here you have the package. The only thing that you need to do to make the package work is just to go to the analysis options .yml file, and then you can just set up the plugin like this, and that's it. So if we go to the package, let's copy this, and just let me show you. I have this project here. This is a Flutter project. I just removed the main file content, and let's go to the analysis options. So in the analysis options, I'm just gonna paste this, and let's save, and let's go to main. Here we have these functions. Most probably this is not working right now. Let's save the whole project, and let's try to restart the analysis server, and let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, let's see. This could take a while. In the meantime, let me just show you something. You can see now it's working. Yeah, here we have the function, we are throwing an exception from the function, and now we have this lint, which is telling you that the function throws exceptions, but it's not annotated with throws. Try adding the throws annotation. So in Swift, we did something like this, right? But in this case, I mean, this is Dart, and we are not gonna do so, but we are gonna do something pretty similar. We just mark the function with an annotation like this, throws. This annotation is not created yet, but we can just create the annotation by ourselves in our project, or we can import the package here in the dependencies like this. And this is the past because I was trying to create the project locally first and then testing it, but let's try to fetch the project from the pop dep, Flutter pop dep, and let's see now what's going on. Forget what. Yeah, now. All right, so now we have the package and we can just import this annotation. Let's go for the quick fix, and yeah, let's see, it's taking a while. Yeah, now. All right, now that we mark this function with the throws annotation, now the second function, it's already detecting that there is a function that we are calling from this function that is already throwing an exception or multiple exceptions, whatever, and now this one needs to handle that exception. How can we do so? Exactly as we did with Swift. We can just mark this function as well, or what we can do is just to handle the exception itself inside this function to like this. If we put here a try catch, let's go for a try catch. And then you see, right? Now we don't have any issues, any complaints on the console, anything here on the, coming from the compiler itself, and yeah, everything is working fine, right? As we did with Swift. What else could be? For example, now we are handling the exception here, which is coming from function 1, but let's go for another case, which could be something, look at my hair, which could be something a little bit more complex like this. For example, rethrow. If we rethrow here, you can see function throw exception as well. So what we can do is just to mark it as throws and use it in another function or whatever you want to use it. But let's not do that. Let's go for something even more complex, nested try catches and so on. So something like this. Okay, we have something like this. Catch. Okay, this is still this is not throwing anymore because we have the try. Okay, we have the rethrow here. It shouldn't be on the try but on the catch. But let's say that we have or we are throwing an exception here. It could be rethrow as well, it doesn't matter. Let's throw exception. Okay, we already handled the exception with this try, but then let's throw an exception from the catch itself. Alright, and now this feature is still throwing exceptions because we go all the way down to the catch, the first catch, then we go to this second catch, and then we have this throw exception statement here. So this function at the end is throwing an exception. So I mean, it's as simple as just marking this function as throws, or we just handle the extension properly. And in this case, I mean, it's the same. I don't want to repeat exactly the same thing, so let's just autocomplete this with AI, and that's it, right? Yeah, you can see we remove this one. Since everything is being handled properly, we can just remove the throws keyword because we also have a link for that, which is telling you function is annotated with throws but does not throw exceptions. Try removing the throws annotation. We remove it, and yeah, that's it. So this is just the feature that I just wanted to show you. I think it's pretty interesting for everyone, especially if you are working with, I don't know, a big team. You are not implementing proper testing, because I mean, if you are testing your functions, most probably you are testing the exceptions as well, and there is no need for this. But in case you are in a fast-paced company or startup or so on, and you don't have proper testing for that, and you need something that could enforce your devs just to handle the exceptions properly. Of course, this is gonna work only on your project scope, because Dart doesn't want to go. I mean, people on Dart which are working on the Dart programming language, they don't want to make the SDK even more complex. And if they introduce something like this, then everyone will need to change the projects or all the packages on PodDev, because they need to implement something like this, this adding these annotations and so on. And you can see, let me just show you, because there are so many discussions. I am not the only one now here, but what is it here? For example, there are people asking for this. For example, here, this guy, I feel we can improve the exception handling experience by introducing some kind of throws statement, something like I already did with this package I showed you. And there are other more famous conversations like this one, at chat exceptions. It continues here with a link for undocumented exceptions. And yeah, if you go all the way down, you can see that there are so many conversations. And then at the end, on December the 2nd, on 2025, there is a comment from this guy, member from the Dart SDK team, saying that they won't be implementing this as a warning or link rule in Dart Analyzer. Because they have a high bar for that. And yeah, as I already explained to you, they will need to enforce everyone just to change their packages on PopDev, their projects and so on. And they just encourage just to go for the Analyzer plugin system, which is the one that I use for creating this package that I showed you on this video. And and that's it, right? They just close the conversations, and that's everything. That's it. So I just encourage you just to give it a try to this package. Just let me know if you like it or not, and if you want to contribute, just feel free. You just go to GitHub, open an issue, or just create a pull request, and I will glad that you do so, because I will just try to just read it as soon as possible and see if we can just make this package even better. And let's see if you guys like it. And yeah, that's it. That's what I got from you for you, and let's see if we can put something here or not. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for listening and watching. See you next time.